This is John. Today I have the pleasure of being on the beat with one of my softball favorites, Sam Fischer. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's so good to talk softball. Thanks for being here. It's awesome. You're truly one of my favorites out there. Let's just
Thank
jump right in.
you.
Um,
Yeah.
obviously you had a great career at Loyola Marymount. I know that. When did you realize that you could be a really good softball player, and how did you realize that?
That's a good question. I think that I remember in the jump from being in 10 and under to 12 and under. That was a really big jump, and it is still to this day like a big jump for softball players because everybody's a little bit bigger, the mound's a little farther back, things really change from 10 to 12, and I remember transitioning really well into 12 and under, and I think realizing that because I was always the kid, I was first to practice, last to leave, and I started to see that kind of equaling to better play, and I think that was a turning point in that, okay, this is fun, but I'm also getting better. Um, so from there, I think it just really took off even more. And then I got into travel ball, and then things just, I kept doing the same things I was doing and practicing a lot and loving it so much that it just escalated into becoming the player that I ended up becoming.
And did you always play infield, or have you tried other positions?
I've always been an infielder. When I wasn't very good, they'd throw me in left field. But yeah, I always have been an infielder, primarily shortstop, and then now having transitioned to a little bit more in the corners.
No, obviously you're a little bit older than some of the young players now. No
Yeah.
offense, you're still a lot younger than me. Um,
Right.
when you were younger, did you have any idea like the possibilities that would exist now for you to play professional softball?
No, this is like, this world is so crazy that I get to live in now because when I was younger, it was the Olympic team. There was one team, that we were aware of, no, looking back now, knowing there was a pro league, when I was in high school and college and everything, there just wasn't, it wasn't broadcast. It wasn't in front of us. And especially at a mid-major, it wasn't something that ever was brought to my attention of, oh, you want to declare yourself for the draft? Like it didn't work like that. So um, the Olympic team was always the dream. And then getting older and seeing more opportunities, then dreams started to change and expand.
And how did you end up on the? This is you're coming into your fourth season with the Athletes Unlimited. How did you end up joining the league?
Yeah, it was. I remember early in 2020, I got a message from Victoria Hayward, and I had heard a little bit of rumblings about Athletes Unlimited, and she said, "Hey, would you be interested in hearing about it and playing?" I said, "Absolutely. More softball. Say the word. I'll be there." So and then I got on a presentation with Sherry, and she laid everything out, and I said, "I want to be a part of it," and then that it's been going ever since.
And what were your thoughts for the people that don't know? It's a unique scoring system. It's based on points. You get points for pretty much everything you do, or points taken away for stuff you might screw up. What were your thoughts initially on that when you first heard about it? And then has your thoughts changed over the 3 years of playing?
Yeah, my one main question when I had the presentation was about the team aspect of the sport. And the way that the system works is it's so team oriented, even though each individual is getting points. The points that matter are the win points and the team points. So as a, softball player playing in the traditional structure my whole life, I wanted to make sure that we weren't losing the team aspect and the importance of team, and it's escalated the importance of team. You get in there and you're playing these competitive games, and you're having inning points roll over, and literally every moment counts. That's our slogan, and showing just another level of competitiveness within the game, and it's gotten better and better every year, and it's proven to be so, the dynamic is so team oriented, and I just love it so much.
Is there some element though, like even like late in the season, maybe if you're close to gaining a position in the rankings, you might try to stretch a double into a triple, or when you're playing, like does that even come into your thoughts?
For me personally, no, because I will never be able to stretch a double into a triple. Even maybe like a single into a double, we'd have to be careful there. But no, I do think we have seen it every now and then in that somebody might try to get a bunt down in a situation where they wouldn't before. But I think it comes down to the game has been played very similarly to the traditional way that it's played. And you will see it every now and then, like I said, with like a bunt or a steal, if a team's up by 6, normally you don't bunt or steal, or by 8, but those extra points are on the table. It will happen, but it's not as often as as you might think it would be.
Okay. Now, along with being a player, you're also on the executive committee.
Yeah.
Like, what does that involve? Are you involved in like reviewing the rules, possible changes, points, and all that?
Yeah, everything. So each sport in our league has a player executive committee. We're made up of 5 players, and I actually this year was bumped up to the chairperson of the committee, which has been really, really cool. Good experience, just getting more interaction with, the bosses, the people who are more in charge. And it comes down to everything, to what do our uniforms look like? What do we need pregame meals? What do we need in practice slots? Everything that comes down to the athletes is run through the committees. And it's been really empowering to be part of the process because they listen to us. They ask us questions, and then they listen to us, and they take into account what the athletes want, what we're saying, what our experiences have been, and how can they make it to where Athletes Unlimited is just the best possible experience for professional softball players. So it's one of my favorite things, being involved in the committee and getting to have those conversations and use everything that I've been through in softball and all the different facets, all the different, areas that I've competed after college, using that knowledge and using that experience to say, hey, this is what we can do, this is what we shouldn't do, this is what we can try to do, things like that. It's really, really great.
Is there any changes coming up that you might be able to tell, or will those be revealed later?
I don't know that there is anything dramatic. I mean, we are, everybody knows we are playing AUX in Chicago instead of San Diego this year. But no, I think if there's any changes that I could even think about are probably pretty minor.
Well, you saw I got excited about that, Rosemont, because much like you said at the beginning, you
Yeah,
play softball, I'm in. So I got my tickets already lined up for
love
AUX
it.
and for the softball. You'll see me in the front row. You'll hear me screaming when you're batting. So
Great.
don't freak out too much when I yell for you. But like playing in Rosemont, that the whole time, like does that affect your game at all? Like, because now you've been there 3 years, so you kind of know the park. It's sort of like a home field advantage for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, it is nice that we got to play on the West Coast in AUX last year. But the familiarity of Rosemont it's unmatched for Athletes Unlimited right now. It's our home. You get there and it's like, oh, I'm back home. It doesn't feel like you're on the road. And the facilities are great, the people are great, and it's just a great place to play professional softball. So I think having it there for both AUX and champ season, I think is going to be a benefit because you get those 12 games of AUX to get out there, get the feel, train, get game ready if you weren't already, and then go into champ season like, oh, I'm back. Okay, I had a couple weeks and I had my training, and boom, I'm in here and I'm ready to go for day one.
And one of the unique things about AU is you guys all play for a cause.
Mhm.
Can you tell us what your cause is and how you decided on that?
Yes, of course. So I've actually played for a couple. I played for 2 seasons. I played for the Lone Survivor Foundation, which is a foundation that helps veterans, dealing with PTSD, dealing with coming home from, combat. And then I played for a nonprofit close to home. I live in Arizona now. It was called the 100 Club of Arizona, that just helps all basically people on the front lines, public servants, people in, firefighters, police, probation officers, anything like that. But this year, I'm actually really excited. I'm playing for a nonprofit called Canines for Warriors, which is a amazing foundation. They take shelter dogs and train them to become service animals to help veterans with PTSD and traumatic brain injuries and things like that. Their mission is to prevent veteran suicide. So it's a really like a double effect of saving dogs from the shelter and saving veterans. So I think it's just like the perfect marriage of two things that I'm very passionate about.
Actually, yeah, I was going to say it is perfect because I love pets and the fact that it's saving pets or helping pets
Yes,
and helping veterans. It's a wonderful cause. I mean, all the causes are great, and
they're
everyone's
so wonderful.
but and it's such a great thing. And for the people that don't know, you guys, part of your bonuses go to you, and part go to your cause. So there's whatever 52 players, and so there's 52 causes, and they're all profiting or benefiting, I should say, from the
Right.
play. So it's another great feature of AU sports. So
Really
thank
great.
thank you and thank the rest of the players for that. Now let me ask you a silly question. I read, and this might be old, so forgive
Okay.
me. I read that the three things you don't like are getting up early, doing dishes, and vegetables. And I totally get. Well, I'm an early guy, so that's
Yeah.
different. Are they still the same three?
No, that's funny because that is from I think my first year with Team USA. So that's,
Right.
oh my gosh, it's like that's over 10 years ago now. I love vegetables.
Okay.
Eat them all the time. I would rather wake up early now than sleep in. Even though I love sleeping, I'd rather wake up early and take a nap in the day.
Oh, love the nap.
Yes, I'm such a napper. And what was the third one? I forget.
The
Waking up,
vegetables.
doing the dishes.
Oh, the
Not
dishes. Yeah, dishes.
that is the same. I do them because I have to, but when I am cooking and getting things ready for dinner, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not looking forward to all the dishes that I have to do.
No, no. See, I agree with you completely. What vegetable swung you, or was it just in
I
general?
think it was just gradually, I gradually would eat a little bit of, like some green beans or some, really well cooked Brussels sprouts. And then just now all of a sudden I'm like, my plate is so colorful with all the different vegetables that I eat. Um, but yeah, I think it just, went from graduating college at 21 and getting older and realizing, okay, like vegetables aren't the enemy.
Very good. Yes. So if we could talk a little travel now, as a player, you traveled, all over the world, and
Yeah.
not from a softball standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, from a traveling standpoint. What did you do to prepare to go to? I know you played in Japan, I believe.
Yes.
So, like, what did you do to prepare for that type of trip or
You know,
stay? I should say that type of stay.
it's the same as anything. So, like playing in Japan, you go for a few months at a time, you come home, and then you go back for a few months. So, the preparation is very similar to the way that I prepare for AU going for 6 weeks. It how to make sure I have enough clothes, make sure I have enough for going on a trip like Japan. I always brought a Costco size peanut butter because I knew that they don't have Costco size really anything there. So making sure that I had the some of the essentials that I would really want. But no, it was just a matter of you get there, you're immersed immediately, no matter what. Even when I played in Akron, going and being there for 3 months, going to Chicago for AU, you just make sure you have what you need, and then you jump right in. There's really you go from being at home to getting off the plane, and now you're at your new home. It's really quite fascinating, the phenomenon that it is.
And where else did you play other than the United States and Japan? Did you play elsewhere?
I not for long terms. I've played in the longevity ones were Japan, Akron. I played in Houston and then now Chicago, but I've played tournaments in Canada, Mexico, Italy, the Netherlands, and Japan. Yeah, so I played tournaments kind of in a few different places as well.
So do you have any packing tips other than the peanut butter? Like,
Peanut butter is
how did you
obviously
know that they didn't have
number
peanut
one.
butter?
Luckily I had friends who had played in Japan, and you could get a little thing of peanut butter, but it's really expensive. So
Okay.
that if you and I ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every single day. So I knew I was gonna need it. But no, usually for packing, you don't need as much as you think you need. So that's something that I've had to learn over the years of stuffing my suitcase when I'm heading home because I thought I didn't wear 10 of these things. Why did I bring them? So you always need a little less than you think you're gonna need.
And do you have time on those trips? Obviously, when you're saying they're longer, you do. Do you have time to, sightsee out there?
Yes. Oh, yes. Very, very much so. Especially when we were in the Netherlands, we were there for two weeks, and it was a World Championships tournament, and we only had a game a day. So we had time either before the game or after the game, or an off day in between, and those are the great trips where you're there for a little while. But especially with Team USA, they made sure to, hey, you know what? We'll shower quick after practice. And when we were in Italy, they're like, we're going to go do a day trip to Venice. We'll go and you guys can explore a little bit. So there's always time to do something because I think even the coaches and the staff know that this is an experience that you might not get on your own. So the fact that, the fact that we're here, let's go make the most of it.
So what would be your top, I don't know, two, three favorite places that you've been?
I, I
Whether for softball or not.
Yeah, I would have to say the Netherlands is my first favorite for sure. We got to see so much. That place is just amazing. Um, and we got to see a lot and experience a lot. I would say Japan is right up there with it. I loved living in Japan. It was unbelievable. It was just next level. And honestly, I think those are like I've loved everywhere that I've been, but those two are the ones where if I got the chance to go again, I wouldn't even think about it. I would go.
So when do you arrive back in Chicago? I know the season starts in like June 16th or something.
Yeah, early June, yeah, we'll report.
So do you already have your favorite Chicago spots for, I assume you have some favorite Chicago spots for food. Are you willing to discuss a few?
Yeah, I already talked with Abby Ramirez about there's an ice cream shop Oberweis in there close to our hotel, and we already said day one when we get there we're gonna go get some ice cream. So yeah, I do enjoy the deep dish pizza going out there at any restaurant really. But it's nice because when we're there we're in like a hotel that has the capacity to have a full kitchen. So I do cook a lot when I'm there versus eating out, but which makes it even a more fun experience to go and eat out with everybody. But yeah, Oberweis ice cream, that's first stop for sure.
Well, actually, I live in Skokie. I have an Oberweis probably about a mile from me, so I'm
So
definitely
you
with you
get
on
it.
that. Yeah, and you brought up Abby. I just saw Abby with DePaul. She's coaching assistant coach
Yeah,
at DePaul, so I see her all the time when I'm covering that team.
it's so
Let me
great.
ask you, for you got to play softball in an era when it was growing. It
Yeah.
grew a lot more than 30 years ago. So how do you feel about being part of the generation that's passing it on and growing it for the future generations of softball?
It's really cool. There's so many perks to it. There's a lot of days where, you know that the work that you're doing today is going to benefit people that aren't you, that are going to benefit the people that come after you. And it's a very specific type of hard in that work. Like I know that today I will not be seeing the benefits of this, but I'm doing the work so that somebody will, that the next generation will. And I know that those that came before me, they're the reason that I get to be in this position. The Kelly Crutchmans, the Laura Bergs, those players who put in the time and put in the work to get me in this position so that I can continue, help carry the torch and go to the next one and just see how it continues to grow. Because I think that's truly the point. There's going to be a day in softball that the work is hopefully done and it's grown and it's huge and people just get to reap the benefits and get to make the money and have the broadcasting, have everything that we've ever wanted. But until then, it's really satisfying getting to do the work and getting to help pave the way so that the players that come after me in the same way that I've come after, like the players that came so long before me, putting me in this position that they never had, or and that I'm getting benefits that they never saw. I like
Sure.
being a part of that, that gradual growth. And as much as I wish it would grow overnight and we'd be all, extremely profitable and everything that we are aiming to be, I know that that's not the case, but it's wonderful. It's really nice. And it's really a privilege to be a part of it.
Well, it's a privilege to watch you guys, and it is a privilege to see it. It is growing, and that's the cool
It
thing.
is.
I've covered the sport for probably about 10 years now, and just in that
Cool.
10 years, I've seen it grow, and I love it, and I encourage everyone to see it. What does it mean to you when you come out there and sign autographs for the little girls, even the little boys, even the older boys? You come out there for pictures. What does that mean for you to see those crowds out there lining up just to talk to you for a minute?
It's great. I love being a part of it because, you know, personally, like I play, like thinking about me as a player of just going out and playing my sport. I play because I love to play. I love softball. I I'm passionate about it and I just love playing and I play for me and for the love of the game. And the byproduct of that is that these kids see it and they're impacted by it. And that part is really meaningful to me because whether they're a fan of me personally or they're just a fan of the sport, these kids are there and these fans and these people are there because and other players, I'm being the most authentic version of myself. I'm doing what makes me happy. I'm following my dreams. I'm pursuing my passion. And that's the byproduct of it. And I love that part, that kids can see, hey, you know what, I can go and do what I love to do and be happy doing it. And this is the example of it. Cause I remember being that kid. I remember being that kid going when I could to see, I remember seeing the Olympic team in 2008 when they were on tour on their way, getting ready for the Olympics and going and watching. And I was 17 years old and I was still there like, oh, holy crap, and
It's
um,
cool.
it's the coolest thing to see people doing what you would love to do. And I hope that one day those kids are in my shoes and they get to go and then, communicate with the younger kids of their generation, So it's really amazing and it's a really, really nice benefit of what we do. And even though like we are growing, it still feels like on a small scale. So we do get to have the conversations and we do get to remember the fans that come game after game and develop those types of relationships. I think it's really special.
Well, we definitely appreciate you. You are certainly doing your part. The league is doing its part. I love the players. I love coming out there. I don't see, well, I'm not insulting anybody else, but man, nobody has as much fun as you out there.
Thank you.
And you make it, and like when you see the players having fun, and really they're all a great bunch of young women athletes. To see you
Yeah,
guys having that much fun, it makes it more fun for the fans.
I
And
love that.
it's such a loyal thing. We love you guys. We can't wait for it to begin. As you see, I've got my Sam
Yeah,
Fisher
I love
hat as
that.
well.
I
Before I let
love
you go, is there any place you want to tell the viewers to catch you online anywhere, social media, or your
Yeah.
charity?
All my internet names are the same at Sam Fisher 52. Pretty basic. But yeah, I find myself on Twitter mostly, just talking a lot of softball.
You do have fun tweets. That's another thing. People should follow you because you do get involved in some. You don't go like crazy on stuff, but you have some really fun stuff, and I love following you. One last question. Number 52. Where did that come from?
Great question. I love that this is the cherry on top. So when I was little, I the home run competition between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire was happening. That's some of like my very early fondest memories was watching them in 1997 or 1998. And
98.
yeah, 98. And Mark McGuire, I just loved him. I loved him. I loved the Cardinals. And so I wanted to be number 25 because he hit all the balls out of the park. So I was 25 and then I got on a team in 2001 and there was a girl who wanted to be 25. And so she got it and I flipped it and I've been 52 ever since. And I now like thinking about it, 2001, I've been 52 longer than I was ever 25.
Wow, that's
Was like
wow.
my original, I got, wait, where is, I've got it tattooed here. Like
Oh wow.
it's totally part of my life as a softball player is being number 52 and I love it so much.
Well, we love number 52. We love
Thank
you.
you.
Sam, thank you really much. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. I
Yeah.
can't wait to come out there to AU. I'll be out there. I encourage everyone to come out there because really there's nothing better. A summer night, you got the expressway in the background, you got the airplanes on the other side, you got great
Yeah.
players, you got elite players playing ball. Thank you very much. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the great conversation.
Thank you, Sam. Take care.
Thank you.